at the school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm hearing like in Chicago, they actually like closed some of the schools because they got over 150 something kids. Like,
so many kids were sick, man. They're just spraying that shit around.
That's crazy.
Like, breathing all in each other's face all damn day.
You know.
All right. On that note, we are live. Yeah. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode, podcast number 99. Can you guys believe this? 99?
99.
How's that song go? I got 99 problems, but
rap ain't one, baby.
Yeah, there we go. That's crazy. I think about 99 episodes, man, and next week's gonna be 100. We got to do something special, like maybe give away like maybe a TCL 55-inch and a Xbox One X.
Oh shit!
Don't put that out there.
Yeah, we're just joking. We're not doing that.
Boy, watch the viewership go up.
I know, right?
Don't be pulling up on us, man. Don't be pulling up on us, man.
Look, if we got like 20,000, if we got 20,000 subs, I'd probably do it.
Oh yeah.
4K TV out there. There's gonna be 1,500 viewers.
Right? 3,000 viewers.
Yeah.
I can finally be a YouTube partner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Although I probably won't monetize. They changed stuff, I guess, or I don't know what's going on. I know they changed the way you monetize now or something.
Yeah, you have to sell your soul, basically.
Yeah, man. They want their cut too, man.
Jeez, man. YouTube's
get off your creativity, man. Ain't nothing for free around here.
YouTube's just a pimp, man. That's all they are.
Yeah, walking around. That's any major corporation, man.
Pimping ain't easy, as they say.
That's right.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think about all the guests that we've had on, and it's like, wow, man. Like some of the industry people we've had on, like we had David Jaffe on. That kind of blew my mind. And Ryan McCaffrey, and you remember Eric? We had Greg from Supergiant Games.
Yeah, Greg's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, that was So it's been a fun ride. So definitely look forward to episode or podcast number 100 next week. So
yes, be here for Mr. Miyamoto himself.
Yes, we will have. You're supposed to keep that under wraps. Miyamoto will be joining us for the BRAP episode 100. Reggie might be in the building too.
Yeah, man, premiering that new amiibo, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So
at this rate, it'll hit 16 million by next Wednesday.
Reggie's just gonna come on the show and say 16 million, and then leave. Drop the mic and just leave the show.
Yeah, Reggie's looking at Bentley colors right now.
Yeah, man.
He's looking at a lot of things right now.
Interior, man.
Yeah, he's looking at the butter interior.
Wife's like, what time you gonna be home?
Yeah, you might get a phone call from him saying, "Hey."
She's like, I just checked the bank and the direct deposit hit. What time you coming home?
Hey, honey, this is Reggie. Tell the kids I would love them. I ain't never coming home again.
Oh, man.
All right, so let's get this show on the road. We have a very special guest this evening, somebody who I have podcasted with before. We have Saltiest Gaming in the house. Saltiest, man, what's going on? Welcome to BRAP, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Just got my coffee, trying to get into these topics. I got I don't know, man. I'm kind of low on energy today, but I'm gonna bring it, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We're excited to have you on, man. And I know we tried getting you on a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't work out. But glad that we were finally able to have you on BRAP. So looking forward to just talking some video games with you, man. So
heck yeah.
Without further ado, we have live from Biscayne Bay, and he's being modest, but he's on his yacht right now, and he's borrowing someone else's Wi-Fi. Mr. Eric Jackson, everybody.
No, man, on the yacht, man. You got that? What's that? That sky satellite, whatever you call it.
I don't know.
I'm out on the yacht, man. That's the only place to be safe from the flu.
There you go.
You out there being bad and bougie, man. He's trying to get y'all germs, man.
Do you have one of those like silk like Versace shirts? You know what I'm talking about? Like with the patterns on it and shit. Do you have one of those?
like what the Rock used to wear?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like Puffy and Biggie used to wear. I think Fat Joe still wears something like that.
Got the first couple buttons unbuttoned, man.
No, man, I'm gonna bring back the polka dots
with his Jesus piece.
Yeah, there you go.
The Caparicis with the tight bottoms.
Oh my goodness!
Patent leather with the buckle.
Oh my goodness, man! We are old. We are old. Wow. Well, Eric, how are you this evening, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be here. Happy to have Salty and Song. Definitely getting some of these topics. We got Gamester on here. Gonna drop predictions for us.
Yeah,
don't front on B, man. B was the believer on Nintendo when we were all doubting.
Yeah, and so without further ado, we have Gamester Mr. B Money 101.
Yeah, what's going on, people? Happy to be back another week, episode 99. Ready to get in here, man. Talk about these gaming topics and talk about the latest and greatest stuff going on in gaming, man.
Absolutely. And by the way, everyone, we have a very exciting show for everyone tonight. We actually, if you haven't seen this on Twitter, we actually are going to give away a digital code for Capcom's Monster Hunter World for the Xbox version of that game. So we'll be dropping that at some point in the show. So for all those in the live chat, keep an eye out because I've been known to drop codes in the live chat. So just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, shout out to everybody out there playing Monster Hunter, man. You know what I mean? They had a great debut weekend, and I didn't think it was going to do that well. To be honest, it's kind of just one of those low key franchises, but to see the great reception to it and the great review scores, it's very nice to see. I mean, Japanese games are back in full effect, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. So shout out to everybody out there playing.
5 million across the consoles or whatever. I've been wanting to play Monster Hunter for a while, guys, and I just didn't pick up a Nintendo, because it was on that market. So I was super. I don't know, man. When I saw the E3 footage, I was like, okay. But then I heard more and more about this game, and we'll get into this in later on in the show, but. I'm just super happy to see this game on these next gen consoles, and it's doing well,
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's Capcom. I mean, Capcom potentially maybe trend setting, starting, every new year now. Maybe they're setting a trend where they kick off the new year with a big game. They did it last year with Resident Evil 7 in January. So hey, maybe this is a trend. Maybe this is something they're going to start doing more often. So.
I think B rubbed off on a bit because I think I did say on our DM. I think Monster Hunter is going to do some numbers.
Yeah,
you did say that. I remember that. And of course, I was like, "Nah, it's not. That's Capcom. It's not gonna do numbers." And then I saw that. I was like, "Oh, okay."
No, and what made me kind of think about that is kind of like what Salty just said is a lot of people had curiosity about that game, but weren't really rocking with picking up a Wii U or 3DS. Or past Nintendo consoles, or the ones that we were on like PSP at the time. So that's a big deal for the hit consoles at this point.
Yeah,
at this juncture. But definitely don't want to understand what B just said too, man. Like Japanese gaming is headed back in a big way.
Yeah, most definitely
making a lot of noise over here in the West.
It certainly. I mean, it certainly has. I mean, I don't think we can argue that. I mean, you look at how well, you look even like Final Fantasy 15 did fairly well. But you look at like even Persona 5, which has always been a series or franchise that's been received well by critics, but it hasn't been one that's really sold well. And I think that Persona 5, this version of it and the series has sold the most out of any. So I think you're right, Eric. I think there's certainly the Japanese developers have really come back and really put out some really quality stuff this console gen. So
and I'm gonna give scientific proof as to why like Persona 5 was a big deal, because it turned Jack Move Johnny into a believer.
Right, man.
Shout out Jack Move, but yeah, Jack Move's about that Persona life for real.
Yeah, he didn't want to play it.
No,
I remember he didn't want to play. Yeah, he was, because I remember we had him on the show and he was like, "Nah, I don't know about that."
So,
you know. But speaking of Japanese developers, I do want to talk about Nintendo real quick. And one of the reasons why we refer to B Money as Gamstradamus, because believe it or not, B Money was one of the only individuals to put his neck out there and say, you know what, I think the Switch is going to sell 15 million units year one, and we all laughed at him. We laughed at him about the Joy-Cons. He was right about that. We laughed about, the use of cartridges and whether the Switch was going to be a success. He's been right about everything Switch related. And we just found out that they sold, 14.8? Is it 0.8?
Yeah, 14.8.
In the first year. They've already outsold the Wii U, which I don't think anyone's surprised by that, considering how terrible that console sold. But give it to Nintendo to have a console sell bad and still hold full retail price.
Yeah, man, they ain't dropping no price for you, man.
Yeah, it's like you think like
the darkest day they were like price drop.
Yeah, even a week before the Switch release, you think, oh, they might drop the price. No,
no. Like, we'll pull it off the shelf before
we'll take it off the shelf before we give you a discount.
Yeah. Nintendo and deals don't go. They're two words that don't go together.
Their kind of like games don't drop value. Like, want trade-in values, their games stay up there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Their trading value for their games are great. Great. I think I can still get like $50 for Zelda right now.
Yeah,
or something crazy like that. Yeah.
No, I think it's like 30, 35 or something like that. But that's still, considering.
Yeah, that's still not bad considering it's
man, not at all.
Yeah. So they hit 14.8 in a year. I think Mario sold 9 million copies.
9 million copies in 2 months?
2 months. I mean,
insane.
Damn,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, how crazy is 9 million? I'm telling you. So these guys, I tell you, Reggie is wearing a mink coat. He's sitting in his couch naked with a mink coat and he's sipping some Ace of Spades, and he's just laughing right now. He's laughing at all the naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so what kind of percentage is that? Like 14 million, 9 million? Like, damn, that's a high percentage for the user base buying Mario, it makes sense.
66%.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
So 66% is absurd.
It's crazy
for a single player. Yeah. It just and Zelda was like 6 million?
Yeah.
Something like and that's crazy because they said Zelda's attach rate was double. Not double, but like
it was like 110% or something above, because people were buying the game before they could even buy the console.
Right.
That attach rate for Zelda was insane when that console first released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were saying there were more copies of that sold than there were actually Switch units out there, right? So I wonder if that part of that too was some people who maybe picked up physical, then when they got the console, went back, maybe got the digital copy. There's some weird stuff going on in there.
So what's the secret for Nintendo then? Like, why does PlayStation and Xbox, their percentages are so low, compared to that? Like, what are they doing? I just want to know. I know they have the name recognition and stuff, but to have that much of a difference in percentages of sales rates and for first party exclusives, it's crazy. So
I honestly, I think it has to do with a different audience. Like Nintendo, when you buy a Nintendo console, you typically buy to play Nintendo first party. And I think it's just I want to talk to Matt about this, and I meant to ask him about this kid, and he's been tweeting out some things recently. Like he's been looking at data. He's like, the Switch is totally outside this, basically outside of the scope, and has almost a different. And I'm paraphrasing this, but my interpretation of his tweet was it almost has its own consumer base outside of the general gaming consumer base, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually saw that tweet, and it makes sense. I've talked about it a good amount. I just feel like Nintendo walks its own line,
Mm-hmm.
and I've said that it's kind of not a direct competitor to Xbox and PlayStation because it's kind of a, you can buy it in addition to those consoles. Because everybody I seem to talk to in gaming, when it comes to hardcore gaming, it's just they buy the Switch in addition to a PlayStation or an Xbox. So there's some people out there that only have Switches, but I don't know, man. It's interesting because they make up their own rules and they do whatever they want, and it's cool. I like it.
And I think people have been rocking with like that for maybe even like the N64 days. Like they would have like the PlayStation, and the N64, and then when the Xbox hit, you'd have like a GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation. It was always kind of like the additional console, and I think a lot of that was based still to this day on the exclusive types of games that they put out, and it's also that quality. Nintendo's philosophy is very much they don't like to ship games that are broken. It's very rare to even hear that, or that a game needs a major patch of any kind. And I think that's why they also kind of get, I don't want to say like a pass, but I think people are more understanding when they say a game's going to be delayed because you know why it's being delayed. And if it's like it's not ready, like how many times, I know Zelda was kind of delayed to also kind of go along with the Switch, but I think also it's one of those things like they weren't going to let that out the door until it was ready because they knew how important that game was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could you imagine if they would have released that game day one on the Switch and it was broken?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're falling through the mountain, like on some games that we play,
right.
or you just start floating through the air, or like, I mean, some silly shit that we see in other games that we played today.
Yep.
Did you imagine the uproar and backlash they would have got for that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially coming off of the, the Wii U. I mean, it would have been. It would have almost a death blow to them. It would have been terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
But listen to this, guys. Like in terms of like numbers. So, for the holiday quarter, they sold 7.23 million Switch consoles. So they basically doubled during the holiday quarter what they had sold for the year.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, that's insane. And we talked about it. They're not giving any deals. They weren't any like $199 bundles or anything. No, $299.
That was the thing that I talked about when it first released, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, why would they release Zelda? First, and why would they release this console in the beginning of the year like this? Like it was all strategy, man. You release Zelda. Zelda has never been like this big selling franchise for them. It's one of the pillars of their franchises, but it's never been Mario. Mario has always killed the game. So when they released Zelda, they put it out in this open window where people really didn't have a choice but to buy Zelda. So that's why it did so well. And then in holiday season, people know Mario. People are going to buy it regardless. Releasing the holiday season, guess what? You just double what you did the entire year. So, it was great strategy, and I think they're probably going to do the same thing this year.
Well, listen to this. Mario Deluxe sold 7.3, and then Breath of the Wild at 6.7. Splatoon 2 was at 4.9 million.
Yeah. Now, based on Mario Kart, I know there are people out there who like to try to throw like a little monkey wrench and say, well, it's kind of whack that Nintendo is like repackaging Wii U games and putting them on the Switch. And I'm like, it's not whack at all. It makes sense because we've already talked about the fact that the Wii U install base is pathetic. I mean, it's almost like having new games put onto the system, right? But beyond that, the point that I kind of made about it was they're not doing like a 1-for-1 or 1-to-1 like remaster and just throwing it on there saying, hey, go at it. They're actually adding content and actually beefing up the package. And I think you and I talked about this and said what they're doing is not, they already know they're going to get the person that didn't get the Wii U and they have the Switch, but they're looking at guys like me and you or whatever who invested in the Wii U and getting us the double dip.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a smart strategy. And what you can do is you don't have to make a big deal of like the Wii U, like repackage and re-release on Switch. You slide that in with other key announcements as the year goes on or the next year or whatever. So they have like a backlog of arsenal that they can throw in there. Sam Tober, who's actually in the chat, he and I talked about it. If they released like a Wind Waker, Twilight Princess like package.
Yeah, just release it in the summer.
Yeah.
Like, June, July, something like that.
How big a deal would that be? That would be huge.
Right.
And I guarantee those games, I I can almost definitely see Twilight Princess and Wind Waker dropping on there because Twilight hit at a time when the Wii U was pretty much that was it. It was already done. And they put that investment in there, but that is kind of a game that they could still move over. So I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah. Couple things, and I don't mean to interrupt there. A couple things Nintendo related too. I think Sam mentioned this in the live chat, but that this just went, I think, live like about 40 minutes ago. Nintendo Switch Online service was launching September this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're also bringing Mario Kart to smartphones.
Oh wow! Okay.
Mario Kart to smartphones. What?
Yeah, you're right. That's what I said. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So, I mean, Nintendo is.
Now, also, Sam put in the chat just now. He said that on their strategy update, they confirmed a focus on games as a service with more DLC and longer gameplay per title to keep users engaged. You already seen that happen with like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Hey, there's that word again, engagement, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting.
And I think that's a good point. I'm happy that Sam put that in there because I think we have to kind of rethink what the whole games as a service thing means, because I think people automatically think that just means everything online and people playing together and multiplayer. That doesn't necessarily mean that. It's like whatever gets you to come back and engage, whatever the hook of that particular game may be, it's getting you to come back and spend more time in it. Whether it's like this DLC added, like story missions can do that. For sure. Episodic content can do that. So, I mean, we saw it with like Hitman.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely different ways. It doesn't just have to mean, like the PUBG like type of thing where it's like engagement as far as, multiplayer. So,
yeah. I saw a quote from the Alan Wake developers, and it was about making single player content that doesn't have, stuff to extend the life of it. And the guy basically said, you're spending, upwards to 4 years developing this game and this environment and spending all this time and money. And then people play your game and finish it in a week and then don't play it ever again. And it was just like, it's hard to see that after you spent so much time building these worlds and environments to have these people buy these games and then stop playing them. So that's why they want this engagement over time, because they spend a lot of time and money developing the games, so it's a good strategy for gaming going forward,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where, like, when we talked about, Game Pass, I think that's where those types of services make sense. Because those can kind of, extend or breathe life, or create a even more higher level of engagement to an audience that might have never even looked at those games. So I mean, it's this is an exciting. I'm just like, I was looking at some of these numbers with Nintendo, and I'm just floored. Like, I own all 3 consoles, and this is probably one of the best console generations that I can remember in my life, and I've been doing this for 35 years plus.
Yeah, it's a good time because this is a time where just about all 3 of them are kind of finding their own groove, and everybody will kind of be thriving, and it'll be great to be a multi-console owner. You know what I mean? Because you can appreciate what everybody's bringing to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when could we say, like, in the past that all 3 companies were this healthy all at the same time? I can't honestly remember. Kind of racking my brain, but
I can't either, man. I mean, it's, Matt was like breaking down the numbers like last week, and he's like, it's just they're all catering to, they're all offering something different to a gamer, and I think, like, with Sony, we always talk about their stellar first party stuff, Microsoft with their games and services, and now with Game Pass, and Nintendo just, with the Switch. I mean, the Switch is such a unique offering in terms of the kind of experience that it offers outside of what I would call traditional console gaming. Like you said, B, gives you console-like experiences on the fly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but yeah, you're right, Salty. So I can't remember a time, and we like I go back to gaming, and we grew up, me, B, and Eric. I think we're kind of around the same age. We grew up when there was multiple consoles on the block, like, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, TurboGrafx, Panasonic 3DO. I mean, there was all these consoles that came out, that failed eventually.
Neo Geo was the unicorn.
Neo Geo.
man.
Everybody had you know with the Neo Geo, everybody had a cousin that had one, but he didn't live around it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My cousin has. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's I can't remember a time where it's been this healthy, and it's funny because prior to 2013, we heard about the death of consoles. You know that the smartphones were take over.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Exactly. And so here we are, 2018, and the market just booming. And a lot of that has to do with the success of Nintendo recently. So yeah, definitely exciting times. Like I'm so stoked. It's funny. Like I just geek out. My wife looks at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, look, this is just awesome. Like I've never seen it like this before, and I've been doing this for almost 40 years. So, speaking of Microsoft, we just dropped Microsoft a little bit. Let's move to our next topic of the evening. You know, and Microsoft. So Microsoft, I think, is really kicked off 2018. And I think this all started. I really think there's a momentum shift with Microsoft. I think it started with the release of the Xbox One X, and we're seeing it with all these rumors of new games coming out, and now they just greenlit Fable to come back with Playground working on it. So there's all these rumors swirling around now. A lot of them seem to be positive. I think these are things that most people would say, okay, this is a good decision. But the most recent rumor was Microsoft buying Valve and EA and the folks behind PUBG. Is it Bluehole?
Yeah, Bluehole.
Bluehole. I always confuse Bluehole and Bluepoint because Bluepoint is also a developer who just did the remaster for Shadow of the Colossus, which looks phenomenal, by the way. So yeah, this is interesting. Like I hope the EA thing I think has been debunked since, right?
They actually haven't debunked that yet. There was a weird. I think someone's account got hacked.
Okay.
And there was false rumors that it was debunked, but at this point, I don't know. I think it's pretty clear that it's not going to happen, but that's just speculation at this point, But
yeah. So like how crazy are these rumors? We have Valve, we have EA, we have Bluehole. And it's funny because I remember we had Lord Cognito, or not Cognito, Lord Sovereign on from the Iron Lords last week, and he said when he heard the update to Xbox Game Pass, he immediately thought of Valve and Steam. But let me ask you, and Saltius, I'll throw the question out to you since you're our guest this evening. If any of these things happened, like Valve, EA, Bluehole, or what kind of impact would that have in the industry? And they probably can't look. They can't get all three, but if they could get one, which one do you think they could get? They should get.
See, the thing is, if you look at the network worth of EA, it's like 35 billion, and with some of the tax breaks and stuff like that under the current administration, a lot of these big companies have gotten a lot of money. So that's been discussed that, Microsoft received some extra funds that they weren't, even thinking they were going to have. So, why not spend them? Plus, they've been talking about it. But I think the biggest impact that they could have is just by buying Valve. Honestly, I think that would be the market that they've been trying to get into. They had the Windows Store. It's kind of a failure at this point. So if they want to have that PC side of things, I think the biggest impact would be to go there, right? As far as EA goes, I think that it would be good for Game Pass in the fact that they could drop those games in there. But at the same time, if you're spending that kind of money on acquiring that, that kind of EA itself, you're going to have to keep all the games on, PlayStation and stuff like that to make profits. So I don't know. I think
Valve makes the most sense to me, Salty.
Yeah,
said, it does.
Yeah, the EA thing would be tough because, like you said, Salty, like you'd almost have to keep all the the Maddens and the FIFAs and everything multiplat, because the blowback from that would be pretty bad, I think, for Microsoft if they took those games away. And that clearly, I don't think does anything to benefit the consumer if they picked up EA and then took those franchises away that have been multi-plat titles for many years now.
Yeah, because a lot of the fanboys, you know, they come out and they're like, "Oh, buy EA and make every single game exclusive. I don't care what it takes or what's the bottom line, right?" But they don't understand that, you know, Microsoft is in the business of making money. You know, that's the reason why they bought Mojang, and they didn't keep Minecraft exclusive to Xbox. They kept it on PlayStation. They're on mobile. That's why Phil Spencer has been promoted to where he is. He's sitting at the table of the top people in Microsoft, because they're putting an emphasis on gaming. Gaming doesn't just mean Xbox, it means mobile, it means PC. So they want to grow all those areas. But like, if you're gonna buy EA, like, they have licensing deals with Disney when it comes to Star Wars. It doesn't mean that they could just be like, "Hey, we want to make a KOTOR and we want to keep it on Xbox," because Disney would be like, "Hold up, we make money off of Star Wars. You guys need to put it on PlayStation because they have a 2-to-1 install base." That's the kind of stuff that is behind the scenes. It doesn't just work out where, you know, Xbox would buy EA and bada bing, all of them are exclusive, right? So.
See, but that's where I think where people are looking at the whole buying the EA thing in the wrong way. You know, Phil has talked about many times how, you know, games could go to other platforms, and I think that would be the easiest route. If you buy EA, you don't have to move the games anywhere. Yeah. That allows you to own those games and to put your games on multiple platforms. You still accumulate all of the microtransactions and everything that comes along with them. You know, with the Maddens, the FIFAs, and all that stuff. Everybody plays FIFA. You know what I mean? And countries where you are not established at, so that allows you to gain that fan base as well. And then you have all those other games. You have the Battlefields. You have the Need for Speeds, which you could probably kill off because you have you still have your own racing franchise.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this allows Microsoft to put their games on multiple platforms. They are going to get there one day, whether it's through Game Pass or through some other form. But I think that allows that initial breakthrough to another platform a lot easier than to just come and say, "Oh, we're bringing Microsoft first party games to another platform." So at the end of the day, the platform holder can say, "No, you know, we're not allowing your games on our platform. Why should we?" But if you start taking away big once upon a time third-party franchises like a Madden, like a Battlefield, and try to make those exclusives, of course, third-party companies are going to say yes. We still need those games on our platform. Those are games that thrive on our platform. Those are games who help move units for us throughout the year. So if you look at Sony's strategy, they always release their exclusives at the beginning of the year, and third party lead the rest of the year for them. So when you look at that strategy, and if I'm Microsoft, I'm trying to capitalize on that. You use these third party games to capitalize and make capital on your platform. Why not own that?
Mm-hmm. That's basically what they're doing right now with Minecraft.
Right.
Yeah, and that's and I never looked at it like that. I've always looked at the possible, like, if they did buy EA, that it was like what that meant for the consumer in the industry. I didn't look at it as, well, they could still have it on multiple platforms, and then from that perspective, I mean, they're still generating revenue. They still have their content that they own on multiple devices now, which is, I think, the end game for them anyway at some point. So.
Do you guys remember when they announced the partnership with Samsung? I think that all this stuff, like, you start connecting the dots. I think eventually, like, I've come out and stated that I don't foresee them putting first-party games on, like, a PlayStation or something like that. Like, you're definitely not going to see, like, a Halo on a PlayStation. But I do see them doing something, because they're making deals with cloud computing, and they're making deals with specifically Samsung. I could see it where they put a Game Pass, for example, on TVs, if that technology improves, and spreading out that way, or trying, with the Play Anywhere with PC. That's where I foresee the Game Pass going. But they need to make their Game Pass, they started with these first party exclusives, but they need to make more deals going forward. You know, maybe with indies or even a smaller publishing company, not so much maybe EA, and putting that in Game Pass and starting there. But that's where I see it.
And what do you guys think is the most logical, or the most likely to happen though? For me, I think it's purchasing Bluehole and PUBG. That just considering the existing relationship they have right now, they essentially have it as an exclusive for the time being. That makes the most sense to me. I think that kind of game really works well in that games as a service. Can you imagine selling Xbox Game Pass now with PUBG included? Think about the value in that. I think that is probably, if there was any announcement, I don't think the Valve thing's going to happen. I don't think the EA thing's going to happen. Although one thing with EA, I was going to say that could help them. EA Origins, they would probably acquire that too. That might help them in the PCs, in terms of PC gaming or storefront in PC gaming. But I think that I definitely think that Bluehole makes the most sense, especially given the relationship they have right now, the partnership, and just that multiplayer game that has a high level of player engagement. That to me, that makes the most sense for them. And if they include that in Game Pass, I think that's a very nice value add for Game Pass as a exclusive game to play. $10 a month, and if you're in PUBG, now you can play PUBG and everything else that's included in Game Pass. So, what do you guys think about Bluehole? Do you think that could be more than likely something that happens for in terms of Microsoft acquiring them or acquiring a company?
I think it's much more logical still than the EA thing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. If I was going to bet money, it would be either Bluehole or Valve, because either one of those companies right now kind of fits what they may be trying to do.
Yeah, and it's what's crazy is that they came close to buying BioWare back when the original Xbox came out. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. I do.
I saw people saying about Valve, they're like, "Ooh, finally get Half-Life 3." I'm like, that shit is sale, people.
Yeah, I don't think Half-Life.
I don't think anything they put out at this point would do it. It's just too big. It's too big of an urban legend at this point.
I feel like every year people are like, "Oh, Half-Life 3," or like Valve teases something, and it's like, "Oh, it's Half-Life 3 announcement."
Right.
Yeah, I agree. That ship has sailed. Bye. Yeah. See, this is interesting. I think, obviously, I think something's happening behind the scenes. I think they're going to make me personally, I think they're going to make some big announcement sometime this year.
They're buying Epic.
Hey, I think that where there's smoke, there's fire off, oftentimes. Yes. And I kind of go back to this analogy. It's just, when you look at the movie industry or just a big business like Disney, the thought of them acquiring Fox would, if a couple of years ago, if you would have said that, people would have said you're crazy, right? That's never going to happen. They're too big, blah blah blah, right? And then you fast forward, you get this news like, hey, Disney's buying Fox, they're getting all these rights back, and it's even beyond that. It's so much money. It's just like, that's a perfect example in that realm where I feel like if Microsoft deems gaming to be what it is, because it's a money generating thing for them, and they're putting emphasis on it. There's no secret there. I think they're going to make a big announcement. I don't think it's going to be EA, but I think it's going to be a big surprise, and I think a lot of people are going to be shocked by the announcement. So,
I'm going to say they end up buying EA and Activision. Now Microsoft controls the war. No, I only said that. I jokingly say that just because of the point you brought up. Like, you're right. Like, who would have thought that Disney would own Star Wars?
Yep.
Right? Who would have thought that? And now Fox, Marvel. Who would have thought that? Not me.
Nope.
And you can even extend it into Disney saying, "Hey, we're not putting our TV shows on Netflix anymore. We're starting our own, our own stuff."
Yeah.
Like they're starting their own streaming service with all these shows and Star Wars shows, like a live action TV show. So it's kind of along the same lines, right? Microsoft's this big company, and they can make a bigger acquisition, and they're starting a gaming streaming service. So there's parallels there.
So that's what I'm
You know
telling
what?
you. I think EA's in play, man. A lot of people
Could be, dude.
think they're too big, but I think EA's in play. I think that'll be the biggest power move they can make.
Yeah, I agree with you, B. And now that you said that, B, I think it might happen, man. Given your track record, just remember where you guys heard this first. You heard this from Gamester Dom on the OK podcast.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So, like, all that being said, if these things are like gonna happen, when do you think some of these announcements start to hit?
Man, a big announcement will probably come like either a week or two before E3 or at E3. I think if they acquire somebody, or it could come after like sometime in the first quarter. Once all the financials and stuff like breakthrough and all that stuff is kind of done, for this fiscal year. So it could come like April or something like that. But I think if it's a big gaming announcement like that, you save that for E3, man, because you could kill a game and everybody be talking about you. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're kind of forced to write about you, and then everybody's talking about Xbox. So
just to throw this out there, if they do buy EA, let's say, and they have the rights to all these huge bangers out there, you think cross-platform between Sony and Xbox is kind of a thing because they want to have that communication? Do you think that opens up if they all of a sudden have all these franchises that are on both, and they have the rights? It's something to think about. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why I think it's could be in play, because it's everything that Microsoft has talked about. EA would allow them, or at least acquiring EA would allow them to do that, because it would force Sony's hand. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna put this game on your platform, then you have to allow crossplay. You know what I mean? It forces Sony to play ball, where Sony at this point they don't have to. You know what I mean? They're the biggest guys on the court. You know what I mean? They got the most swag, and they don't really got to bow down to what Microsoft wants. But if Microsoft makes a power move, you got to kind of play ball. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah, that's go ahead, Nate.
I talked about it in the video I did. EA is the #1 third-party publisher right now, with that net worth of 35 billion plus. So like this kind of a move it's just astronomical. Like if that actually happened, I can't imagine it. It's just I don't know. Like they could flex and say, hey, we're gonna do, if like I said, the majority of games that are with EA now would stay, they'd go on all systems or whatever, like they go on PlayStation like they normally do. But if Microsoft's deemed fit to say, hey, we're going to hold back, a FIFA, and we're going to drop it day one in Game Pass, they could do that for I could see it for like 1 or 2 games, right? But that alone is big enough to sell Game Pass, and they could take a loss on one game per se, and not bring it to another console and just keep it. And that would be the flexing that would, allow Sony to be like, hey, if you let's talk about this crossplay. Let's get it open, for the gamers,
God, just think about how much think about if they just dumped all that stuff into Game Pass now. I mean, holy shit, like that's a lot of content now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That allows them to boost their yearly lineup. You know what I mean? And then they're not technically forced to release all their first party stuff at the end of the year like they've been doing the past couple of years, or just in history, for Microsoft. Right. Because now you have other players in play. You know what I mean? You can release a Battlefield every 2 or 3 years. You still got Titanfall in there. If they can acquire all licensing from Disney, they have the the Star Wars stuff in there. They have Need for Speed. They have all the sports titles in there. They can bring back old EA franchises like a Dead Space. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff in play. You know what I mean? 'Cause you acquire all that IP and whatnot. Microsoft would have a bag. You know what I mean? They would be the Migos of today. You know what I mean? They'd be out there flexing with their Versace shirts on. You know what I mean? Because they'd be a major player. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of potential there. And I would love to see it happen just because, I've talked about it many times. The one thing that I really wanted from Microsoft this year is to be super aggressive. I felt like, last year they took the year off and the year is supposed to be, it's supposed to be year of the X. And I didn't really feel that. You know what I mean? The whole year I was waiting for something big and we got to the X and that was it. And I think this year and kind of going forward, I want to see them be aggressive. You know what I mean? Show me that muscle.
Like how they used to be, like,
Yeah.
But it kind of goes back to like what you were saying, being like, if they kind of make this kind of power move, going back to like the crossplay thing for a minute. I know like a lot of it was always said like, Sony's just being an asshole, Sony's just being anti-consumer. And it's like, what you have to like kind of stop and think about is if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Right.
Sure.
And yeah, there is consumer, there is anti-consumer, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's about making dollars. And if Microsoft can bring that to the table, Sony's like, all right, now we can play ball. Because right now it's like, you're telling me like, I have $5 in my pocket and you're coming with 50 cents. What is that doing for me?
Right.
But if you're saying, well, I got $5 in my pocket, you're going to either match my $5 or supersede that $5, makes sense to us. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But if you remove the whole thing of, take away, the executives tweeting you and this friendship and barbecues, no, it's money.
Right.
That's what these companies are there for. They like you to an extent. They like your money better.
They like your money a hell of a lot better, man. As long as you keep spending it, that's what they really like.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you guys, but I like money.
Yeah. I think some people lose sight, in the whole console situation, that they think that these console manufacturers and aren't businesses. They're businesses, man. They want to make that money, The weird thing is though, like Microsoft came out. You guys heard the rumors about the whole. I'm spacing it, but when rumors have come back out in the past, they've kind of snuffed them right away. Yeah, like Microsoft comes out and say, "Hey, that's false. That's false. There's a war. Dev team was working on a new." It's just like, no, that's wrong. But with this thing, they haven't done that. So it's kind of it's interesting, right?
Yeah, I think at least we can say something is happening. I think these components, these chess pieces that were moved around, on the executive level with Phil moving into his spot, Booty moving into his spot. And yeah, I think if you kind of read the tea leaves, you kind of see all these things coming into place. And it kind of goes back again to what we've talked about here before too, is, draft the team that you need to really make things happen.
Yep.
It's like you want to go to the championship, put people around you who understand what it takes to get there. And it seems like that's what they're doing. And I know like a lot of people consumer-wise or, Twitter-wise or whatever, if you're critical, they think that all you're doing is hating. It's like, no, man, we're all gamers and we just want the best, and we all want what we're all selfish when it comes to what we want. If those things are met and answered, it doesn't matter how you get there. As long as everybody's getting what they want, that's all that matters. Yeah. If you're a strong multiplayer person, that's all you really care about. If they're answering that, great. But if someone's saying, well, no, I like more single player, but I love the Xbox ecosystem, they need to answer for that too. Because they have a whole range of consumers, just like Sony does, like Nintendo does. And you have to answer that. It's not being like a dick or being anything. You're just saying, as a consumer, this is what I expect. And if I'm not getting that, I'm going to be vocal or I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic of the evening. Sea of Thieves. There was a closed beta this week. I think it's wrapped up now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, so I know that. Did they extend it? Because I thought there were some issues, and they may have extended it. Yeah,
it was extended 2 days.
2 days. Okay. Yeah, so I was actually finally able to get into the beta. Aaron Greenberg was kind enough to send me a beta code, so thank you for that, Aaron. Appreciate it. And I was finally able to get in, and the first time I played it, I actually streamed on Twitch, which I don't do a lot. And of course, like I'm just loading it up, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, and game loads up. I'm in a tavern, a pub, whatever you want to call it, and I start immediately speaking in pirate talk. And you can actually see this on the live Twitch stream. But I'll give you my quick take, guys, and then I want to hear from you guys as well. I did play for about a half hour by myself. I just didn't really find it fun playing by myself. I was able to actually hook up with Sam, Tolbert, and Anchorman. And who else were we playing with? We had I don't remember who else we were playing with.
Me.
Oh, you, Eric. That's right. Oh, shit. Who else were we playing with? Eric's like, me?
Your podcast mate?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see how it is, man.
X-nay on the N-nay. So, yeah. So, yeah, my good pal, Eric Jackson. We were scallywags. Gar.
Getting scurvy and shit.
Yeah, we were getting into the scurvy.
Dilly.
Yeah, Sam Tolbert says Eric! Exclamation point. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot, man. Hey, you know what, Sam? It's too much. I had too much grog in the game. That's the problem. Because I was throwing up all over the place.
The grog was real, man.
The grog was real. Yeah. My God, John is crazy, man. So, Mr. Megadeth from Super Deformed Gamecast says you hooked up with Sam. Kinky. That's not really what Sea of Thieves is about.
Well, yeah, there could be DLC.
There could be DLC that we're not aware of yet.
Brothel DLC.
Actually, might be entertaining. So yeah, so we got to play as a crew, and by the way, the motion sickness thing is a thing. Actually, it happened to me. I know Polygon wrote an article about the motion sickness, and I can tell you just from experience, it is a thing. What I ended up doing was increasing the FOV or field of the field of view to like, I think it's at 70, and I turned it all the way to 100 because HDK actually suggested that I do that, and I did, and it helped a little bit. But I had some fun. I mean, I think most of the game and what we're doing was just really treasure hunting and just trying to find islands. And when we got to the islands with the maps and everything, we were looking for X marks the spot, or sometimes there were riddles where we'd have to figure out to find the treasure, and then we have to get the treasure on the boat, and we have to fight skeletons and stuff. I think the highlight for me was probably watching Eric's character throw up everywhere. And I think I definitely had some fun with being on the ship, because we all had different roles. I forget what your role, Eric. I think were you manning the cannons?
No,
I was sails.
Manning the sails.
Yeah, and I was up on the little that crow's nest or whatever it's called, looking out for ships and stuff, and making sure we didn't crash into like the islands or anything like that. And I'd yell out, "Drop the anchor!" So that part was like, I got a good sense of like the teamwork and everything that goes into it. But I gotta be honest, you guys, there wasn't enough there for me to sit there and say, okay, like this game's gonna be great, or I was kind of left like, I don't know, like just I couldn't. I don't want to say I couldn't formulate an opinion, but I just feel like I understand it's a beta. And I understand there's going to be other factions. There's going to be I think the total 3 factions, and each faction has its own quest lines or whatever, or missions they do. I just don't know, based on what I played in the beta. And again, I'm trying to look at this as a beta and be objective about it. I don't know. Like I don't know what to think of the game. I think that obviously content's going to be key in a game like this. Because for me personally, I don't know if sailing around in the boat and mimicking getting drunk with my online friends is going to be enough to keep me engaged in a game. Or going after treasure is going to be enough. I don't know. I just, there's some questions with combat. I think the the sword fighting with the skeletons was just very not. It was just very. I don't know how to describe it.
It's blah.
What's that?
It's basic, dude.
Yeah, very basic. Like the sword should have more. Like Salties. Don't you feel like the sword should have a little more weight to it? Like
yeah,
it,
man.
it didn't feel like you were hitting anything other than the cling 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 noise.
It's weird, man. The combat is probably one of the weaker points in the game, honestly. And then the fact that there was only one enemy type. Like, when's the last time you jumped into a game and there's only one enemy type? I mean, it's just skeletons, man. That gets boring. You need to have variety. Like, and one of the problems that I had with this game, I can tell you all the things that I loved about it. But the problems that I have is like when I kill enemies or I kill a shark, I'm kind of expecting almost something to drop that I pick up.
Yeah,
kill more enemies. It's just you kill them and nothing happens, right? You
it's
don't
like
level up.
But it's like the skeletons come out of the. I don't mean to interrupt you, Salties, but
it's fine.
The skeletons come out from the sand, right? I understand they're probably there to protect the treasure and whatnot. But you're right. Like, there's no like gratification or anything. Like, it's like, okay, well, why am I doing this outside of having to protect, Anchor, who's carrying the treasure chest? What's the purpose? Like, like I'm not. If I like, for me, like if I'm killing the skeletons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could grab those bones and use them for something, right?
Exactly.
To like craft some kind of like jewelry, like Captain Jack Sparrow,
Yeah.
I don't,
You kill the shark and you get leather and you can make new shiny boots or whatever, dude. I mean, they need to have, it's just more depth in what it feels like to me. Cause like, don't get me wrong, the game looks phenomenal. It looks awesome. Like the scenes, like the environments, like the colors pop. The water is just second to none. The way that you sell your ship with a whole crew, like you can angle the sails and you can do this and that. But like, let's be honest, once you get past that, the meat and potatoes of these type of games, what's going to keep you coming back? Like, I know that they have factions like in Destiny where you can get quests and you can level up the faction and they have gear and stuff there. But what makes me want to play a game or makes me excited about a game is being able to get stuff from killing enemies and having a variety of different enemies that have different combat techniques, because that extends the life. Like, I feel like they could be like, okay, this is an island and it features this enemy type, or and then you can get materials from that island. And I don't know if I'm asking too much from this game or if it's just a different type of game, because I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter World, and that, that game, you kill a monster, you get the materials, you can craft new weapons and new armor. But it just feels empty to me. It feels empty. It's like a glorified treasure hunt, right? And it's a repeating pattern.
Yeah.
You get a treasure chest, you take it, you turn it in. You get another treasure map, you go find the treasure chest, and you fight skeletons, you turn it in. It's just like, okay, that gets really repetitive.
Does it feel like just like an online party game?
Yes. That's my fear. That's my fear, that it's an online party game. And there's, like you mentioned, I think, Nate, you mentioned Destiny, right? So with Destiny, yes, there's 3 different factions. But Destiny has the lore. There's glue that holds everything together there in terms of a story arc. I don't think that's there in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Well, they could get there, because I mean, how long it took Destiny to kind of get to where it is now, and right now people still don't seem to be very enamored with Destiny.
Yeah, but Eric, there was a story though in Destiny. You just had to go look for it.
Oh, you had to read a lot and get all that stuff, right? And I'm gonna say that definitely think people keep reminding everyone of this is a beta, it's not a demo, but it's like, that is true and not true, because at the same time, this is still, it's 2 months out. I'm pretty sure there'll be more test plays and everything else, but at this point, you are kind of getting sort of like a sample of what this overall game means. And like Salty said, the water's amazing. The sunsets and the cloud and the weather systems are amazing. I didn't particularly find like the characters themselves like that amazing. They look it looked like all the resource went into the water, which actually makes sense for this type of game. But yeah, I'm with you guys 100% on the combat. I think the combat is like stiff and leaves a lot to be desired. And again, that's sort of something interesting with this game being 2 months out. I think that's one of those things, like right now it is kind of what it is. because I'm sure there's other things they have to focus on, like getting ready. And I know people keep saying there's all this content that's going to drop like after the game releases, but we'll have to, I guess, wait and see what that is. I think first person wise, it makes a lot of sense on the boat. I almost think it should switch to a third person perspective on the islands.
That's my exact thinking.
Yeah. That first person views, it's like to me, it's a weird decision, to hold on to. It makes a lot of sense on the boat. It just doesn't make as much sense on the island. I don't know. So yeah, but again, a lot of it remains to be seen. But yeah, if a lot of it is just like fetch quests, and from what I understand too, a lot of the stuff that you find is basically more just cosmetic, not so much where it kind of beefs your character. I don't know if that's true. I hope not.
You can. So when you go find these treasure chests, you don't know what kind of value they'll hold. When you turn them in, you get a variety of different like rarity of chests. You turn them back into these factions and they give you a certain sum of money. And then these individuals have rewards based off of leveling up the faction. And, you can buy a blunderbuss. I think that was one of the things that they had. It's like a shotgun. So there's potential there for maybe new weapons, but a majority of it's cosmetic. The thing that is alarming to me, which I don't understand, is you have a game that's called Sea of Thieves, and the sea is devoid of any life. Like there's no fish. Like how is that? Like
there's sharks.
Yeah, there's sharks, but there's no fish. I mean, it's just like a random shark every now and again.
Do the sharks eat the fish?
Seriously, like I feel like I don't know. They're gonna add like chickens and stuff like that, but as far because it was data mined the game, and they saw the kraken, and I guess there's mermaids as an enemy type, but that's about it. There's like 3 different enemy types, and that's the biggest issue for me. But one of the things that we need to focus on is the fact that this game dropped #1 on Twitch, and it was #1 on Twitch and Mixer for a while, like throughout the beta, and those numbers usually go hand in hand with the game's success. It's just engagement. I don't know how it works specifically. I'm not, an analyst, but they're talking about Destiny's numbers, like the fact that the game is failing based off of their engagement numbers on Twitch, based off of a year from Destiny 1 and a year from Destiny 2. So it is a positive sign that there's so much engagement with this game coming out the gate. I can't remember a game having this much interest per se when it comes to Xbox this generation. So that's a good thing that can be added upon, right?
No, I think it's a good point, Saltis. I think Matt last week mentioned that where like you see bigger games like on Twitch, there's a high level of player engagement. When you have that high level of engagement, you have even more engagement where people are going out, they're buying that game that they're seeing, streaming on Twitch a lot. So I think, yeah, you're right. I think that's a great point. That potentially means that there's some interest in this game. And look, I'm not saying that this game's going to fail. It's too early for me to make any kind of like final judgment call. I know there's more content, more melee weapons, bosses coming. I'm just trying to figure out how all this kind of.
I wanted to say
what the product's gonna look like, I guess.
Well, I want to say like playing devil's advocate. I know like they said the engagement on Mixer, Twitch was like a lot higher, but I kind of think that still kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that a lot of people still don't have their hands on this. It wasn't an open beta, and a lot has not been said about it because it was under NDA. So I think that garnered like a lot of attention. Now, can they keep that momentum going? Will be the question. I think but I think that's a positive thing that so many people were interested in and definitely want to see. But I think a lot of that lends itself to the fact that it's been so secretive. But now that you have those people, keep them engaged because that can only help.
Yeah. The thing that I would say, like even with all of its faults, the game retained its viewership on Twitch and Mixer throughout the beta, and it wasn't just a couple of days. So if with all the faults that it has and the potential for it to get repetitive, the player base and the numbers of engagement stayed consistent. So I think that's a positive thing, and I think that it's also a positive thing that this is kind of a streamer's dream. The way this game is made is perfect for streamers because they need a game where they can interact with their audience, participate with their audience. And with this, it's like a slower paced game. You might be on a ship. You can engage with your audience. So I think that bodes well for the game as well, if they can improve upon some of the issues that I'm seeing with the game, So
Yeah.
You know, well, the key for them is just obviously going to be content. Can they sustain enough content to keep that high level of engagement up? You know, I could see the appeal on this game streaming too. I was watching a stream where there was a crew playing, and actually one of the guys had an explosive barrel, and he jumped in the water. There was a ship that was chasing them, and he went on the ship, snuck on the ship with this explosive barrel. He went down to the bottom deck, and he's like, "All right, see you later, boys." And he shot the barrel, and everyone on the boat died. So I mean, like I could see like people like how people would have fun like doing stuff like that, right? And how like because the game allows you so much freedom to try different things, how that would benefit someone who's streaming. Yeah, I'm not. Uh, I'm gonna hold out to make a final decision. I guess I was probably expecting more too. I guess for me, I was probably expecting a little bit more, considering how close we are to launch, and I think that was probably part of it too. But B, do you have any other thoughts on this, man?
No, unlike you guys, I haven't had a chance to play the beta. Tried to get in there, and unfortunately, nobody was able to send me over the code, so I haven't had a chance to touch it. But I've watched people streaming for a couple hours, and just some of the same concerns that you guys brought up is some of the things that I was kind of feeling about the game, and it just seems like there's might not be like a traditional story structure, and for me, that's a real big issue. Even with it being like this party style game or like play with your friends or whatever. I still like to have some form of story in the game and some starting and end point at the end of the day. And I don't know if that game is going to provide this. So it's not high on my radar. I'll keep my eye on it and see how it kind of progresses as it releases and kind of goes through, different updates and whatnot. But, I applaud it for, what it's doing for the community. A lot of people, like you guys said, I've been watching on Twitch and 200,000 plus people, watching at one time was pretty amazing. You know what I mean? It's definitely high level engagement for, a Microsoft game. And I'm sure that they're looking at those numbers and pretty happy about it. So we'll see what happens once it releases. And hopefully, they add a lot more substance to the game and maybe, they'll get their hooks in me and I'll jump in there.
Yeah. And, the other thing too is this is a Rare game, and Rare is such a. I mean, I got to go back with Rare to games like RC Pro-Am on the original Nintendo. They're such a storied studio, and so I want to see this game do well too because it's a Rare game, and I think that just my opinion personally, I think more recently Microsoft really hasn't been utilizing Rare as well as they could have. I know they stuck them on the Kinect stuff for a little bit after, on the 360 they came out. I mean, how many Rare games that came out in the 360 in a short period of time? We had
like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, and they were bangers too. I mean, Perfect Dark, which is rumored to come back, Banjo-Kazooie, Viva Pinata. What was the other one? Cameo? Was that
Cameo? Yeah, Cameo launched with the console. Cameo and Perfect Dark.
Yeah, and those were really, really well received games, and so for that reason, I want to see Rare do well just as a studio. I hate to see them not be part of the industry anymore. And I'm not saying that's going to happen if this game doesn't do well, but I want to see them, because they're such a storied studio, be around for the long haul.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any thoughts on Sea of Thieves before we move on to Capcom?
Nope.
All right, cool. So I will say this though, Sea of Thieves. One more thing, I think this is a missed opportunity. I think they should bundle this game with Rum. I'm just throw that out there. Can you imagine that? Like, can you imagine if they bottle because the Kraken's gonna be one of the sea bosses you fight. And can you imagine there's a rum called Kraken? Can you imagine they bundle it with Kraken rum?
That'd be hilarious, dude.
Or a flagon,
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be a pretty cool marketing piece,
Hell yeah. They should go on and hire Johnny Depp to market this game.
Yep. Oh, one thing I will say, like Sam mentioned in the chat, but I said the same thing on Twitter like last week after playing it. I said, this is the type of thing that would benefit from something like Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
It's a big ask at this point. I mean, or we'll see how leading up to the release how it goes. But if it's 60, that's a little, that could be a little suspect for some people. But throw it in a Game Pass, that's a great way to keep mining, for customers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's coincidence that this Game Pass announcement came out and Sea of Thieves is the first one that's going to drop. Like, it's a perfect game for Microsoft to drop that in there. There's people curious about it. It's $10, $10 a month. It will get people engaged. It will increase the player base. I think they've been planning this for a while. And if you look at the slate of games, first party wise, they're all multiplayer focused, so that kind of slots right in with that Game Pass announcement. So,
yeah, no, I agree. Someone mentioned Captain Morgan's. Is that a thing? Did I miss something? Give me
Captain Morgan's rum.
What you say, B?
Yeah, that's the Captain Morgan's rum.
I'm telling you, give me some Captain Morgan's, man. I'll stream. I'll put my face on the camera. I won't fall asleep on the stream though, but I have a couple drinks. So, yeah, but it's funny because the Game Pass, I wasn't probably going to buy Sea of Thieves, but now I'm definitely going to try it out for sure. Yeah. I'm going to try it out.
I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Yarr. Jesus, I keep thinking of that stream that I did. All right, so let's get to Capcom. So Capcom just released Monster Hunter World on both multi-platform, Xbox, PlayStation. I think everyone on the panel has the game, right?
Yep.
No, except for Eric, you don't have it.
I'm picking it up soon. I haven't picked it up yet.
Hey, everyone in the live chat, boo this man.
Man, Enrique, they have game gifting on Xbox now.
I'm about to drop a code.
I'm just saying,
but I don't. Unfortunately, panel members are not eligible.
We're gonna be some shadiness. Like, it's like, ooh, I got it.
Wait, he's gonna come in. He's gonna come in under another username in the live chat. I got it.
Right.
Yeah, everyone again in the live chat. Remember, we are going to drop a code tonight for Monster Hunter World. For the Xbox version of the game, so just keep an eye out because it's just gonna drop in the live chat. It's gonna be a code, digital code. So, Eric, man, you got to pick it up, man. And by the way, Eric and B Money, you guys already know what version I have because you know what section the game was in, right?
Yeah, man, we know where you were at, man.
Yep. So, what's funny though, man? It's someone called me like what is it? Someone said something to me the other day, called me a fanboy or something. Like I forgot what it was, and I'm like, nah, actually, I've been pretty consistent because when the PS4 was out and the Xbox and whatnot, I was getting multi-plats because they on the PS4, and I said, hey, if they're gonna perform better on the Xbox One X, I'm gonna get the Xbox One X, and I've done that. But yeah, someone said something crazy to me about that. But anyhow, is Capcom back? Is Capcom back? I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, Capcom's back. And you know what's great about Capcom is that we all look like they're not batting 1,000 years. There was issues with Street Fighter, right? We know about that. But they've kicked off 2017 with Resident Evil 7, which was my favorite Resident Evil since Resident Evil 4, which to me is still the best in the franchise, although I think some people out there would probably debate me in that. And then 2018, they dropped Monster Hunter World, which to me just kind of like, I dabbled in the franchise, but I never really got into it. But I think they shipped 5 million copies in 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, like where did this come from? And Capcom's out there, they're talking about it. And Look, I like the game. It's to me it's obviously there's some depth there. There's a lot of menu prompts to read. A lot. There's a crafting system you have to learn. But I like the game. I'm having a blast. I haven't had the chance to play with anybody online yet. But from what I've played so far, I've actually really enjoyed it. And actually, you know what, B, I know I asked you earlier if it gave you not Final Fantasy, but Phantasy Star online vibes. It kind of does for me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does for me because you have that home base, you're crafting, you're trading things in, you're selling items. And because it's an online game, I don't know why I had this like fascination with Phantasy Star Online. Like it's the one game I wish that like would come back to Xbox Live because we spent so much time. I remember on the OG Xbox, Phantasy Star Online on the Xbox Live at the time was amazing. It was so good, and we put so many hours. I mean, I remember staying up to like 6 a.m. playing that game with friends. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Although I'll say that I'm still trying to figure out what the cat does. I feel like he doesn't do anything for me unless I'm missing something. Like
the Palico actually does do stuff. He can heal you. You just got to level him up through playing the game. You can get him new armor that looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
Later stage in the game, he can actually mount smaller dinosaurs and shit. So
nice.
Cool. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, because I think he's like level 3 for me right now. I'm level 200. I think he's level 3.
Yeah.
So like I'm still like pretty early in the game, but yeah, I mean there's a lot of tutorials. The menu system can be a little intimidating. Even setting up an online session and inviting people, there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve. But other than that, I think just from what I've played so far, again, I'm pretty early in the game. I'm enjoying it. I think this is gonna be one of those games where I could see myself having a lot of fun with friends and just going out and hunting monsters and doing quests and stuff. So I'm happy that this game it's even been well received critically, and it sounds like it's doing well. So I'm happy to see these kind of games succeed because I think when we see these kinds of games succeed, it gives I think other developers maybe the stones to go out there and try some new things that they maybe wouldn't have had a game like this not done well. So, Saltius, I do want to get your take on this, man. Since you're a guest tonight, I mean, it sounds like you're enjoying the game. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Man, I have so much to say about this game. It's crazy. First of all, if you guys didn't know, Xbox matchmaking for this game has been broken since launch. Like, you're supposed to be able to do SOSs.
I think it's fixed now.
It is fixed now,
Yeah.
But it was completely almost broken. But even with that, like not working, I've had ridiculous amounts of fun. Like shout out to Jay Fonz. So Jay Fonz was on the fence about getting this game, and I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, dude, this game is crazy. It does that. It scratches that itch that I have for these type of games, like Destiny did, and it just the scope of the game and the way it plays is just something I haven't really experienced to this point on console. Like I said before, I've always wanted to play these Monster Hunter games, but I didn't want to buy the systems that they were on, so I didn't play them. But like the immersion of this game is second to none. I mean, you get into these environments, and then the monsters that you're hunting, you have to track them, and then if you find the monster, another asshole monster can come, and it does a lot of the time. It comes in and it starts fighting the other monster, and it starts trying to kill you. It's kind of like when Godzilla fights other big old monsters, and you're in the middle and you're trying to kill them. It's like it's crazy. And then the crafting system in this game is a little bit overwhelming. I think that's one of the reasons why Fonz was kind of hesitant to get in, because it's complex. And you can kill the animals, you can kill the monsters, you get their parts, and basically when you come across a new monster and you kill a new monster, it opens up new armor sets and new weapons and it keeps going down that pathway, and you can farm the monsters. So like if you have a friend that's lower level than you want to help your friend out because you need to farm those monsters to make more weapons, if that makes sense. So it's an amazing game, and the Japanese style game, a lot of people are like, oh, that's not gonna be successful on Xbox, but it's the top selling game on Xbox right now. It's a really good game, and I tell everybody that I come across, you need to get it if you like this type of game, so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Saltiest, man. And I remember Jafon's being on the fence, man. I'm glad he picked it up, and he had a blast. He had a blast. He said, I mean, he was having a blast playing it when I talked to him last night. So, B Money Man, have you spent some time in this game?
Of course I have. Of course I have. Man, like I've been talking about Monster Hunter, for a while, and I was just excited to see that they're actually bringing it to console. I've played Monster Hunter a couple of different times on 3DS, and I got it on the Wii U, and played it with my boy Lunar over there on Wii U. And I've always enjoyed Monster Hunter. It's a great, grind fest, type of game. You want to have the best loot, the best gear sets, the best weapon sets, to kind of hunt down these monsters. And you feel kind of badass when you take down somebody, who's big and bad, that's out there. So I was super excited that they announced it for consoles, and I had to pick it up day one. I ended up buying it for both consoles, just because I know I got a lot of friends that are gonna play it on PlayStation, but I wanted to support the Xbox just because they don't get that many Japanese games, and this is something that I've been asking for a long time. We got them really early on the 360, and then they kind of just tapered off towards the end. And for a while I thought we weren't just going to get that many Japanese games. Even on PlayStation, we weren't getting that many Japanese games coming to the West. So anytime I can kind of support that, I definitely am. So I picked up on both consoles, been playing it on both consoles. I'm about 10 or 11 story missions in. Visited a couple of different landmarks or whatever. Really enjoying it. It's Monster Hunter to me, just on a bigger scale. Really enjoying the crafting system they have in there, the vast open, semi-open world, the hubs that they kind of drop you into. All of them look amazing. I got to the coral, forget what they call it, coral something recently, and it kind of looks like Atlantis. It looks like it's almost underwater.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks amazing. The variety of monsters that they have you hunting is crazy. They in the first couple of places that you go, you got the monster that kind of pukes everywhere, the pukey, and then you got the big T-Rex style Ananaje is there, and then they've got electric monsters and so many different varieties that it never feels like you're going to get bored because you're tracking down the same type of enemy type, because you kind of got to approach them differently. And if you don't master your weapon or upgrade it properly, then you may need to switch to something else, and that gives it a different feel to the game too. So it's definitely amazing game. I'm glad that it reviewed well, and so many more people have given a chance and picked it up.
Hey, real quick, just want to say something in regards to live chat. Lex Hazard said Chupacabra needs to be DLC in a game. Chupacabra. That's hilarious. That is pretty funny. And a big shout out, by the way, to NR Clips. He actually, or I should say, he or she actually was able to. He actually won the digital code for Monster Hunter World. So congrats, man. I hope you enjoy the game, and definitely appreciate you tuning in. I think he's new. I haven't seen him in the live chat before, so big shout out and thank you again, and congrats. And Saltiest, you are a podcast slut. Is that what's going on in the live chat?
Yeah, Native gives me shit about it, man. It's like the town bicycle. I make my way around. So,
Wow.
Oh, wow. Everyone gets a ride?
yeah, dude. I mean, it's
Wow.
what it is, man. No, I was giving Native shit because he was in a party with us last night. It was like me
Yeah.
and Diller and some other people, and I was wanting to play the game, and this fool was busy talking and yapping. I'm like playing Monster Hunter. I'm like, dude, this game's the best when you play with your friend. And this guy's just yapping. I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna get off. So shout out to him for being a talker.
That's it. Actually, you know what? Did I play PUBG with him?
Yeah.
I think we did. Yeah, I think it was me, you, and Fonzarelli. I think we played PUBG.
Yeah, he's
And
good,
I think, yeah, and he was talking a lot. I think in the PUBG game.
yeah,
too.
did you get insta triggered and wanted to block him? That's
That's too fun. No, I didn't want to block him. I remember him talking a lot. So, but it's all good. It's all love. Irrelevant. It's all love, man. But B, man, we got to link up, man, because I want to. I would definitely want to run some friends, man.
Yeah. I hit Bella up, and she actually hit me back the other day. She wanted to link up too, so I gotta shout out Bella.
Is she done with the game yet? No, Bella.
Yeah,
she's
hard
done.
to say, man, you know what I mean. So she probably got all the best gear you can have, and taking down all the biggest and baddest monsters on her own. So, but yeah, I got to jump in there with Bells too.
She's got the blueprint, man. She'll tell you what combination, what combos to use. What kind of ingredients to put together, or yeah.
I'm hoping to have it like this weekend, but it is selling out in places though, man.
Wait, Eric. Actually, that in our clips, man, I've never seen him before.
He's a bot.
Oh, you ran in.
Huh?
Oh, I see what you're saying. How dare you, sir?
Salty said he's a bot.
Could
be.
Ran in, got that code and bounce.
Yeah, he did. But you definitely gotta get it, man. Jump in there with us.
I'm gonna cop it. I'm definitely gonna cop it.
Yeah, it's extremely fun in a party, like a hunting party. If you can get 3 other friends in there and go out, man, it's crazy.
Oh man,
putting Witcher 3 on hold.
Native says don't talk when you're in a party chat with you because you get mad.
I'm gonna have to give him shit later on, dude.
Hey, I can vouch for you. That's not true, man. Because we played PUBG and
Sure.
So he's just breaking your stones. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eric, man, you got to pick it up, man. We got to run a little BRAP squad, man. Because I think you play up to 4 people in a squad? Is that?
Yeah. You can get 3 other friends, but like if you're in so you can do those excursion things. I think that you can have more people in your instance. I think it could go up to like 16, but I think it only with your specific friends going in there, it's 3 other people.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So we gotta run some games, and let me know when you guys are down. I can't do it tonight, but definitely tomorrow or Friday, whatever, the rest of the week, I'm up for it. I'm definitely feeling this game. All right. So anyone have any other thoughts on Monster Hunter?
I just want to see. I want to see more games like this on Xbox. I know we were talking about it, but I just want to see more. I got that itch. I
hear you, man. This is a good one for the Xbox, and I tell you what, as long as these games come enhanced,
Gold chain gamer.
I will. Hey, you know what? I'm always looking at that section. You know that I am.
It's true.
I thought about picking up Final Fantasy 15 again because it's enhanced. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that Final Fantasy 15 grind again.
Yeah, that game's still on my list of getting, but my backlog's big right now. So
yeah, I have everything on Pro. I'm good with it over there.
Just wait until it releases all the DLC and they come out with the Super Royal Edition or whatever the hell they're gonna call it, because the Royal Edition still don't have all the DLC in it. Square Enix, stop trying to nickel and dime us, man.
Super Royal Edition.
Yeah, we ain't playing. Capcom used to do that to us, man. We don't need a new Capcom, man. We need a new Capcom. out here nickel and diming us over Final Fantasy.
Capcom used to finesse. Boy, they used to finesse.
Yeah, Capcom did. Hey, speaking of Capcom and Square Enix, what about who's picking up Shadow of the Colossus?
Oh,
Right here.
They won, man. They won.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys. Hats off to Blue Point, man. We all know, like I think like we've joked around that Blue Point should eventually just make their own game because they're like the kings of like remakes, remasters. They always do like phenomenal work. But God, they did a phenomenal job with Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, they just like even some of the some of the work that they did with. I mean, like even that game on the PS2, I thought at the time when it came out on the PS2, and you remember like how big the Colossi were, and I remember the first time seeing them, I'm like, oh my God, these things are huge, right? But even that attention to detail at the time for the PS2 was fun, was just wow, right? And now here we are, and they did a complete like remaster, and it's I think it stays. Again, I haven't played it, from what I've seen. They really have been able to do it, recreate this game with it looking like it's stuck true to the original game, and I think that's probably you got to imagine that's hard to do, right? Without significantly maybe altering the game or how it was originally made or intended to be experienced.
No doubt. I mean, when you think about just changing from, the generation that it came from to what it is now, and still trying to restore that same feel, but giving an updated look, that's very hard to do. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants, today's game to feel like a game of today. You know what I mean? Everybody wants the best controls, the game to feel like it's super responsive. But Blue Point has done an excellent job, and you can see from like the earlier impressions and some of the review scores that that they did their thing on this, and they've have a proven track record of doing these great remakes and remasters, and it really makes you think of what potential they have if they were to put out their own game, or just given an IP that they can work on and see what they can do by themselves. So
yeah, no, I agree. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it comes out next week.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Next week.
Yeah, I'm and it's 30. Well, with game. Well, I'm gonna go to Best Buy, so it's gonna be about 35, I think. With GCU. So, yeah, I'm interested in getting everyone's opinions and thoughts about that next week after it comes out. So, real quick, guys, before we wrap up, I want to get so this weekend's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl predictions. Saltiest will go with you. Who's going to win?
Patriots.
Damn.
Because they always win, right? So
I know.
That's easy money right there. Slap some money down at Vegas. They'll win. So
yeah. You know what? I will be salty if they win.
Hey, did you guys see the videos of the refs celebrating with the Patriots players? It's been going around on social media. Like the ref, it's like a touchdown that's scored. The ref comes over and he's like basically celebrating in the end zone with the players. And then after the Patriots won, he came over and like dabbed up fucking Brady, dude. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. That's why it was so suspect, man.
They got
this like WWE
all year, man.
That was like WWE rigged levels, dude. Like,
Been suspect since that Pittsburgh game. They took that touchdown back.
I know, right? Which clearly a touchdown. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, see, that's suspect, man. So the fix is in. Here we go. The fix is in.
Yeah, the only people that don't believe that are Patriots fans.
Of course not. What about you, Eric? Who's gonna win, man?
You already know in a way, but I'm just gonna say, you know what? I hope Philly pulls the upset because, it's boring at this point, man. Patriots every Super Bowl.
I tell you what, if Philadelphia wins, that city's burning down.
It's true.
That's just it's gonna be a massive riot.
No, you know what they do, man? In these towns, they put like grease on the poles.
Yeah, Crisco. But it didn't work. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
They're like, damn that, man. We're going to Home Depot, get those gloves. We're tearing these poles down.
I'm telling you, that place is gonna burn down. B Money, who do you think's gonna win, man?
I'm going with them Eagles, man. I think the Eagles is gonna pull up a crazy upset, man. I like the defense. I think Nick Foles is playing the best ball he can play, man. And with that, you know, what do they call like the fake like run pass offense that they got going on? You know what I mean? It gives the defense just enough, you know, a second look to get a quick pass off or go with the run. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But I'm gonna go with them Eagles, man. I think Philly has worked hard enough, you know what I mean, to get to this spot, and they deserve the dub.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm gonna go with Philadelphia. I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles by a field goal. And I think Tom Brady gets carted out of the game, gets his legs broken. Yeah, is that bad that I want to see that happen to him?
I will say though that if the Patriots win, Tom Brady's retiring, Bill Belichick is retiring, and that this is the end of the Patriots run.
I don't think Tom Brady's retiring, man. He wants to play till his mid-40s.
Nah, man, he's retiring.
You think he's done?
Yep, he's done. 6 rings, Michael Jordan numbers. You know what I mean? It's over. Hang it up in the rafters. No other quarterback can see, you know, or do what he's done. Bill Belichick looks like he's ready to check out. You know what I mean? They're doing all these specials, which they've never done before. You know what I mean? We see in Tom Brady's life. We see in Belichick's life. They put it on TV. They hanging it up, man.
Yeah, and Belichick looks
it's over.
He looks old too. Like he's ready to hang him up, man. He looks like they may have mocapped him in State of Decay too.
Yeah, man. When Belichick does a 30 for 30, man, you know it's time to hang it up, man.
Yeah, that's a good point, B, because he doesn't usually talk to the media.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Bill just want to go chill and wear some cutoff sweatshirts.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And all I'm gonna say is this, man. You know, if Philly brings that defense the same way Atlanta did last year, don't start playing them like, you know, to win. I mean, playing like you don't want, you know, just keep going at them.
Yeah.
You know, don't play like you're afraid to lose. Like play like you just act like the score's still even or like you're down. That's where these teams mess up, man. They go in, you know the formula. Get to Brady, you have a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
exactly. Yeah. God,
you know?
freaking Atlanta last year. That was just terrible. Dude, Lex Hazard in the laugh chat is savage. He said, nah, Eagles going to lose. That fan base doesn't deserve a Super Bowl yet. Savage, man.
Man, they already.
I mean, they've been grinding for a long time, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, did you see the videos of
McNabb numbers?
the Philly fans throwing shit at the what was it, the Minnesota fans? It's crazy.
I did see that. Yeah,
those Philly fans are crazy, dude.
No, I didn't see that, man.
The stadium they used to play in, the old Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles used to play, they actually had a judge and a holding cell there for football games.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, Philly fans, they don't mess around. They don't mess around. So, all right, gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. I can't even talk. Podcast number 99. Big shout out to Saltiest Gaming. Thank you again, man, for joining us tonight. Let people know where they can find you.
Man, it was a pleasure. I had a blast here tonight, guys. Thanks for having me on. Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. You can find me on YouTube. I try to make a video every day. I mean, some days are slower than the other. I got a bonus video out. It's kind of a fun little video. If you guys didn't know, Madden's doing this promotion with this $10,000 dollar ring. If you play an online game on Mixer and you win, you could win it. It looks pretty dope. It's an Xbox Super Bowl ring looking thing. So yeah, I just do Xbox centered news, and sometimes I do other things. We got some plans in the works to do Let's Play and some streams and some game reviews. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming. The I is a 1. And like I said, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Definitely loved having you on, and we got to get you back on again, Saltiest.
For sure.
All right, and Eric Jackson, man, stay away from flu, and enjoy your evening on the yacht. Hope you sleep well tonight.
You stay away from flu too, man. You up in that cold.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I got little ones. Yeah, I got little ones that go to daycare, so you know how that goes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's Turn Central, man. You got to pick them up in a hazmat suit.
Yeah, we are. And Gamester Damas, B Money, always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Episode 99, great episode, great guest. Salty's Gaming, appreciate you coming through, and get ready for episode 100 next week. Just come check us out, and maybe we can have something else to give away. So
yeah. Shuhei may even stop by.
Yeah, Shuhei.
Oh, boy, Shuhei and Miyamoto. Oh, Miyamoto and Shuhei.
Yeah, Miyamoto, Shuhei.
All-star show.
Yeah. You might have Ed Freeze might even stop by. You're not an Xbox fan if you don't know who Ed Freeze is. That's all I gotta say. We might. Yeah. Can you imagine that if that really did happen? How funny that'd be.
Oh no, you gotta get him. You gotta get him to do those video tributes, like when it's somebody's birthday. They're like, "Oh, I couldn't make it to the party, man." Congratulations on the episode.
Yeah. Sorry, couldn't be there, but I'm in Japan working on the next Mario game.
Yeah, man.
Or have Phil Spencer on. Phil be like, "Sorry, couldn't make it. We're working on buying EA. Can't get into all the details right now."
It was like, I'm in Japan. We're trying to buy Atlas. So,
oh my goodness, that is too funny. All right, hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching us. And who gives us 2 dislikes? By the way, I mean, really, come on now. I was
telling the chat, I have some dudes that auto dislike my videos, so I know all about it, man. There's some salty people out there, and like I post a video and it's like boom, boom, 2. I'm like,
they're like, "Oh, Salty's got it. He's got it."
You know, they're sitting at the dinner table. They're like, "What time is it? Oh shit, hold on."
Yeah. Oh shit, he posted a video.
Say, "Babe, I'll be right back. I gotta do something."
Yeah, I know, right? Baby, hold on to that thought. Hold on, he put a video out. You got to hit this like.
They hit the bell icon just to thumbs down that bitch.
Yeah, I know, right? They probably do. They probably
it's
do.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're that famous, man, you get stalkers, man. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That means you're doing it right.
Yeah, Salty, that means you're doing it right, man. You got stalkers.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Jay Fonzarelli had a neo-Nazi stalking him, so.
Yeah, no, he told me about that.
Well, the guy showed up. We had Jay on. The guy showed up in the live chat. It was terrible.
Oh man.
Yeah, shout out to all those weirdos out there in the interwebs.
Let me tell you, there's some weird MFers out there. It's like, people, come on.
Yeah.
Get it together. So, all right, everyone. But yeah, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you again for stopping by. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. And hey,
I've been begging people. Come on, 20 likes, dude.
Yeah,
hit the like button on the way out.
I don't get that sometimes. You have like 50 people watching, like 3 likes, and it's like, what's going on, people?
Yep.
Yeah. Hit the like button. It helps us out. And if you haven't done so, subscribe as well. We definitely would appreciate that as we're looking to grow the channel. And hit the bell button too, so you can get alerted when new content comes up on the channel. So other than that, we'll catch you guys next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who knows? There could be a rant coming up anytime between now and then. If some big news drops, I tend to do those. If you haven't seen any of the previous rants, definitely check those out. They're always a good time, always interesting topics. So, Zoltius, thank you again, man. And hey, we'll catch you guys next week. Everyone have a great rest of the week, and see you next Wednesday. Peace.